Okay, we can take a look at a sikha about Yiddishkeit and Gimel Tammuz.
Oh, that, by the way, that was not Rabbeinu Tam, the son. It was the one who made the decisions about the marriage and
Rabbi Gershom?
Rabbi Gershom, it was his son.
You listened to...
Yeah, it was his son. But no reason. No reason.
Okay, this Yom Yibbeis Tammuz, regarding the day of Yibbeis Tammuz, HaYom Shebei Nikol, T'choit L'shmei Nechami Adlon Asari, the day that the Frierdiker Lubavitcher Rebbe was freed from his arrest, Shenes V'Gelal Avodah Gdoila She'avar Basa Ateh L'chizak Hadas. He was arrested for the great work that he was doing for Yiddishkeit in Russia. This is a very big hit to a Russian jury that the Frierdiker was taken in. So after, the year later, after he was freed, so he wrote a letter before the first year celebration, and he wrote the letter like this. He wrote the letter of Chagigas Yibbeis Tammuz Rishon Mishnas Tafich Beches. It happened in the year 1927. He wrote this letter towards 1928 before Yibbeis Tammuz. This is part of the letter. It's appropriate to set this date on the calendar for a day of Farbrengen, and to be inspired. All place, every place, one should use out this day to promote and inspire about Yiddishkeit.
Not every Farbrengen is it oil. I think so.
Not every day did the Chabad Rebbe's set as an official date, as a day for a sons. Chassidim like to Farbrengen often. Yeah. But reality is there's only really certain few days on the calendar.
Like Yiddishkeit Kislev.
Right. So Yibbeis Tammuz was something the Frierdiker made an official day. We don't say Tachel on these 2 days, it's Beis Gimel. It's explained many times. Shekol Divrei Rabbi Seinu Sinu V'Yokim. All the words of our Rebbes are exact. Afilu b'negei l'sichos, even their sichos that they spoke, the conversations. Afilu b'negei l'sichos chulin shalahan, even in seemingly ordinary conversations. Shein sichilim, but the Gemara tells us that Chazal tell us that Talmidei Chachamim, true Talmidei Chachamim, even when they speak mundane speech, Sichas Chulon Shel Talmidei Chachamim, Slicha Limud, you need to know what they're talking about, because they don't stand talk. A real Talmid Chacham, he always has something to say, and we have to understand what he's saying.
It doesn't have Sichat Chulin.
Yeah. It's a certain level of Sichat. For us, it's for him it's called Sichas Chulon, but for us it's Torah. For sure, this is regarding the actual Torah. If their conversations have meaning, for sure they're actual Torah, and especially when they give instructions, so obviously they want to give over a certain idea. In our situation, says the Rebbe, we should be medayik in the language of my father-in-law, the Rebbe. He said, Chizuk HaTorah V'Yadus. He said, first it's appropriate to strengthen the Torah, and then he said, Yadus Yiddishkeit. The L'chora Yadus Harei V'Shem Kloli HaKoilo HaShayich L'das Yisrael. The word Yadus, Yiddishkeit, Yadut, includes in it, it's a general term to include all and Yadam that have to do with the Jewish religion. Hein Limud HaTorah, Hein Shmiras V'Kiyum HaMitzvahs, both learning Torah, both doing mitzvahs, whether it's the Raisa, the Rabbanon, and Adam and Hagi Yisrael up to even Minhagim, customs. It's all included in the concept and idea of Yiddishkeit, Yadut. It would have been enough for the Frierdiker Rebbe to write in the letter, this should be a day to strengthen Yiddishkeit. That includes everything. Why did he take out from this rule Chizuk HaTorah? The strengthening of Torah. Strengthening Yiddishkeit and Torah is one and the same. Yiddishkeit is also Torah, right? So why should there be two separate ideas? So he says, Bepashtos, simply speaking, the ending of the second column, the first column I mean, the bottom, he wants to just stress Torah as an idea for itself. Many times in that letter, over here it only mentions 2-3 lines in that letter, but in that letter that the Frierdiker Rebbe wrote, he mentioned many times about his work that he was doing to spread Torah. It was the simple intent of the letter was the fact that he founded Chadarim. Yeshivas then were called Cheder Chadarim. He founded many Chadarim, Yeshivas, Shiurei Torah, the Rabbim, and public Shiurim of Balei Asik for people that were working. That's the simple intent of what he meant. Aval Havel L'chora Haktim Esak Koil V'Haklal Yadut V'Ach Kach L'Hoyis V'Adgasha Shal Pratein. Okay, he wanted to stress something that was very passionate with him. The idea of strengthening Torah and opening up yeshivas, even though it was forbidden to open yeshivas then in communist times, that he would open up yeshivas in places, quiet, secret yeshivas. But still in all, he should have said this after Yiddishkeit. First you say strengthen Yiddishkeit. Yiddishkeit is the general term which is all-inclusive of all ideas of Torah, Yadus. Then you can mention the idea of Torah as a specific. Another diuk, these are not things that we on our own would pick up. These are things that the Rebbe is picking up in this nuance. On our own, we wouldn't pick up on this nuance in the words. But the Rebbe is pointing out to certain nuances because he wants to bring out a certain message. Why did he use the term Chizuk HaTorah? In the very letter itself, he called it Harbatzat HaTorah, spreading Torah. What is he saying? Chizuk HaTorah, strengthening Torah.
Is there a difference?
Doesn't really seem to be much of a difference, but the Rebbe obviously wants to bring out some type of difference that he feels is here. And here he says that the nekuda of what he wants to say, the point, and then in Siv Beis he's going to explain it. It seems to say one of his intentions here was not to inspire us about two different ideas. His chaskus ba'avodas harbatz ha'torah, his chaskus ba'avodas yadus. It wasn't about two different ideas, about Torah and about doing mitzvahs. His intent was really just to talk about chizuk hayadut, strengthening Yiddishkeit in general, all aspects of Torah. Ella, she actually chazik as a yadus ba'ifanir tzekima yigdei agdama v'aschol chazak. The only way one could truly strengthen Yiddishkeit, yadus, is only through Torah, and that's why he mentioned Torah first. What is the meaning of this? He's going to explain in Siv Beis. And before we go and read it inside, just to say outside, the Rebbe is going to explain the word Chizuk HaTorah v'Hayadut. Why he put Torah first and Yadus? Just say Chizuk HaYadus, that's enough. Yiddishkeit, Yadut. And if you want to say Torah to specifically mention Torah, say it afterwards, because Yadut is more kolal everything. First you say the klal, and you say the prat. So the Rebbe explains like this. Yadut means, what does Yadut mean? Yiddishkeit. How do we interpret Yiddishkeit? What is Yiddishkeit? What is Yadut? Some person will say it's eating gefilte fish, it's having a knedel. We have to know, what does it mean, Yiddishkeit? In order to make sure that the clear definition of what is Yiddishkeit, we have to look how Torah views Yiddishkeit, not how people culturally, socially view Yiddishkeit. We have to first take a look at Torah. Therefore, the way that Rebbe explains that the Frierdiker first wrote, you first have to be mechazik Torah, then Yadut, in order to know what constitutes Yiddishkeit, which actions are part of the inclusive body of Yiddishkeit, of Judaism. It's not up to us, to everyone's own personal feelings. We have to take a look in Torah. What Torah reckons and considers as a part and parcel of the body of Judaism and Yiddishkeit, that is Yadut. And if not, it's not Yadut. It's nice things, it's beautiful, nice things, but it's not Yadut. It's not Yadut. It's not something part of Yiddishkeit. So therefore we put the word Torah first and then Yadut, because Torah defines Yadut. What is the definition of Yiddishkeit? The Torah defines Yadut. And here he explains it inside. Siv Beis on the bottom of page 145. Bir Hadavar, the explanation idea. HaMusig Yadut, the concept of Yadut, the Mavane HaPashut, in a simple meaning, Pirushei Kololos Hanhogas Yehudim B'Toyudim, means the general behavior of Jews as Jews. The behavior of Jews as Jews. Because that's the meaning of the word Yadut. Yiddishkeit means the behavior of Jews as Jews. Therefore, there could be confusion. What constitutes real Judaism? Anything Jews do? Therefore, it is important to stress, to make clear, Sheyadut eina rak hanhagas b'nei Adam. Haderech shenogu b'nei Yisrael b'meshach hadoros ma'aseh Adam chas v'shalom. Yiddishkeit is not made up of behavior of human beings. It's not made up of what we decided on our own during all the generations of time, the past hundreds of generations. Yiddishkeit has evolved and we have decided different things in mesh of the generations, and that's Yahadut. That's Judaism. Elakol Kula Muhusa, the entire essence of Yiddishkeit, true Yiddishkeit, Ukiyum Hayrois Hatoida Shenitna Besina B'Piyagura. It's not about what the humans do, it's about fulfilling what Hashem gave us at Har Sinai. That's Yiddishkeit. This is the essence of the stress of the Frierdiker Rebbe to strengthen Torah. Before we mention strengthening Yiddishkeit, I can't talk to you how to strengthen Yiddishkeit. I first need to tell you what about Torah. Because we're just going to talk about Yiddishkeit, it doesn't mean anything. What is Yiddishkeit? Everyone will say this one is Yiddishkeit is this is Yiddishkeit is this. Only Torah defines what is Judaism. And that's the important thing to set straight, the record straight, before we go and discuss Yiddishkeit. And in the note 5 on the bottom, the Rebbe brings a famous statement of Rav Sadia Goyin the Rasag. He said, "Umaseinu einenu uma ki'im b'Torah." So, our nation is not a nation by means of its language, by means of its land, by means of its culture. Our ummah is an ummah based on Torah. Without that, it's not an ummah. It's not a nation. Other nations are nations because they have a certain land, they have a certain culture, a certain language they speak. You all speak this language, that you belong to a certain body. People thought, Amal, if you spoke Yiddish, so you're Jewish, Yiddishistan, they had groups, they were all about Yiddish, speaking Yiddish. The language, or the clothing, or the land, that's not what defines Yiddishkeit. That defines a lot of other nations. Our nation is only by Torah. Ve'ein hadavar, top of page 146, Masel b'nei Adam, it's not given over to human beings, shebesichel na'im, there with their logic, yachriu, they will decide that certain yanim in Yiddishkeit are obligatory, however other things aren't. Chas v'shalom. All the details of the Torah, up to this very day, a true chiddush, a true innovation in Torah of a Talmud Vasik, an appropriate student of Torah. Even Minhagi Yisrael that were innovated in later generations, and were accepted in the majority of Klal Yisrael, become a part and parcel of Klal Yisrael. The Torah of Hashem, Torah min Hashemayim, shenit lo Moshe Sinai. Ka'afilu minig Yisrael Torah. You know, we know Chazal tell us, Kol Mashatam Vasik Osiv V'Chadish, Anything which an appropriate Talmud, a Talmud who knows how to learn, and is a Yiddish Shemayim, and he makes a Chiddush in the Torah. Pshat, that Pshat was already given at Har Sinai. What does that mean? It means like this. What is when someone learns Torah based on the rules that Torah itself gave, how to learn it, and he learns it appropriately based on those rules, and he learns it with Yiddish Shemayim, then he's going to discover that he's going to uncover real Chidushim in the Torah. He's going to uncover real meaning. Not what he decides the Torah means. He's actually going to uncover embedded meaning in the Torah, because the Torah has in it meaning that is up to all generations to come, that everyone can uncover the meaning in the Torah by learning it. In every generation there are different Chachamim that are Mechadish in the Torah. What does it mean, Chiddush? If the Chiddush is such a big Chiddush that the Torah itself didn't mean it, then it wasn't given by Har Sinai. It wasn't there. A Chiddush is only a good Chiddush if it actually follows the rules of the Torah, and it's done by someone's Yiddish Shemayim, God-fearing, then they have the skula that they can be able to uncover the meaning of the Torah itself. Called to.
No, it was already uncovered. That was already brought down by Moshe.
Just so Moshe gave it at Har Sinai, it was hidden. And by the way, Moshe himself didn't know it. Moshe was given the Torah, he himself didn't see everything embedded in the Torah. Not only that, Hashem showed Moshe future generations, and he saw Rabbi Akiva. He saw Rabbi Akiva sitting and explaining the different crowns in the Torah. The Sofer writes in the Torah, we have a bench here, the Sofer writes the Tagin, the crowns in the Torah. There are certain letters which have crowns, certain letters don't have crowns on them. And certain letters have more crowns than others. Rabbi Akiva came and explained and found meaning and reasoning behind this in the Torah. And Moshe himself felt it was lost in the Shir of Rabbi Akiva. So till he heard Rabbi Akiva saying, a student asked him a question, and Rabbi Akiva said, "This is a halacha l'Moshe Sinai. This is what's passed down from Moshe Sinai." Then Moshe felt good that B'etzem it's all things that he got from Torah from Sinai. He gave it over, but embedded in there were things that Hashem's infinite wisdom in the Torah that he himself didn't at that time see. But future generations, future Chacham, in each and every generation came out, and those Gedolei Yisrael, and learned in the Torah and saw within it the deeper meaning. So if it's a real Chiddush, that's such a big Chiddush that you don't see it in the Torah, then it wasn't by Sinai. So the real Chiddush is you want that you actually discover what the real meaning is. If it seems far-fetched, then we know this is not what the Torah meant. It has to be a plausible pshat that you're giving, which goes based on the rules, and following the rules of the Torah, one can actually reach to the true meaning of Hashem's wisdom in the Torah.
Would that include the Bible codes?
Possibly.
I mean, pretty esoteric stuff.
Possibly. If it could be real, if you could see that it's really proven.
Remez, Pshat Remez was so. Remez
is disproven.
Right, I don't know, there's no reason for us to dafke accept these codes. We have no obligation to accept these codes. If they're self-proven, they're self-proven.
Like there was these mathematicians, they took a novel written by some Russian, you might have heard of one, what was the name, Tolstoy, and they did the same thing.
Yeah.
And they came out also with a lot of Yiddishkeit.
There were certain we don't have a chiyuv to believe in it, but there were certain basic ones that already. It's based on a certain premise that there was someone who discovered, let's say, like every 50 letters, he discovered the word Torah in the beginning of each chumash. Every 50 letters is Tav, Vav, Resh. Some of these things could have meaning or not. You have to know where it came from. The concept of Bible code is not something we saw Gedolei Yisrael very involved in. It wasn't something I did, but if it's definitely not something we should rely on as to our for the future, for any halachic or.
You don't have to go to the Bible codes. They're modified gematria out from even from Chazal and even in the Tanakh.
Right.
There's monthly out and there's even Kayot.
Right. Rabbi Yehuda HaChassid, one of the Rishonim, has a Sefer Gematrias, it's called. And there are many Gematrias, which is basically like Remez. It's a part of Torah called Remez. We have hints in the Torah. But again, you can't just have anyone, you have people today make up their own Gematrias. It's maybe nice to say over by a Bar Mitzvah and a Shabbat Baruch, it's cute, but to go and say, this is Torah, you know, you have to, this is not just the Gematria. To put it this way, is like this. The Gematria, according to Chassidus, explains it nicely. Gematria is not, just because this Gematria is 50 of this word, and this is 50, that's not where the connection starts. The connection is that there's an intrinsic connection between these two ideas over here. That plays out in the fact that they have the same Gematria. The Gematria is just an external revelation of an internal connection. If there's no internal connection, we can mumbo jumbo around. There's no for example, what is brought a lot of times is it says that Hashem in general, we know that there are different, Hashem has different names, different ways he's described in the Torah. Two of the most famous ways is the Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Shem HaHavaya, Shem Hashem, Shem HaMefayrish, and then there is the Shem Elikim. Now, it says that Elikim is a source of nature. The rules of nature comes from Elikim. Elikim, the whole world is derived from the Shem Elikim, as we find in the beginning of the Torah, Bereshis, there's 32 times it mentions the name Elikim throughout the whole Ma'aseh of Sheshis and Bereshis. It doesn't mention the Shem Havaya at all until much later on. So it says in the Svarim that Hateva, the nature, the Gematria of Hateva is the same Gematria as the word Elikim. They both share the same Gematria. So this is not just Stam Gematria. This is because Elikim is the source of nature. Elikim is that level where Hashem is Tzimtzum, the idea of creating nature. That's why it has the same Gematria. Okay, getting back to what we're learning. Page 146, Umizem move on the right column. Umizem, from here it's understood. Shemi Shemeika v'chomres v'hagi Yisrael shenistaknu v'hugnu b'deides hachrein. Those that are lenient in those chumras or menhagi Yisrael that were enacted in the later generations, because he thinks shehem ma'aseh b'nei adam. These are just human actions. So if they're human actions, I don't have to keep them.
Not kosher?
He's not obligated to accept it upon himself. It's not pshat that he's missing certain details. He is missing a very foundation of Torah. El kol prat shebo kdas gila Hashem aidei avod chacham Yisrael shechol devader. Minhagim are not just nice things. Real minhagim are actually a part of Torah. They are part of Yiddishkeit. Minhagim that were created by Chachmei Yisrael, by Gedolei Yisrael, become a part of Yiddishkeit. And the only reason, a part of Yiddishkeit means that this is all from Hashem. This is all the Ratzon Hashem. Hashem says, Loi Sasasur min adabar ashi yigidu chayim in Ismail. One should not depart from what the Chachamim tell us, not right and not left, to follow Chachamim. Minhagim follow in the same line. If the minig is a good minig, it's an appropriate minig that was accepted in Klal Yisrael, that becomes a part of Yiddishkeit. What does it mean becoming a part of Yiddishkeit? Not a human addition. It becomes a part of Yiddishkeit as being part of Torah. That all that goes back. This is all part and parcel of a continuation from Sinai. Taisa says in Menachos, Taisa says minig Yisrael Torah. Minig of Yisrael becomes a part of Torah.
And
different minhagim in different groups according to the rules of the Torah, if your kehillah does not have that minig, you don't have to keep that minig. And if the other group, their community, that city, had a different minig, there's a whole parak in Pesachim called Parak Makim Shenagu. In a place where they did Malacha Erev Pesach, you're allowed to do Malacha Erev Pesach. A Makim that they did not do Erev Pesach Malacha, you're not allowed. And the whole entire parak discusses minhagim and different kehillas regarding so many different yanim in Torah, different minhagim. Minig is a very part of Yiddishkeit. Minig is not a culture. Minig is Yiddishkeit. It's Torah. It's part of Torah. This is part of something that's part of Torah. Everything. All the different minhagim that we have that are based on that are real minhagim. And now not every minig is a real minig. And they say a joke that they say that the Brisker Rav, the Velvala in Yerushalayim, so before he was very medayik in everything he did. They say before he lit the Chanukah licht, he asked that the broom be taken out of the room. So later they said to him, why did you ask that the broom should be taken out of the room? He said, I didn't want that there should be a minig and brisk now that when you light the Chanukah candles, you have to have a broom in the room. So they say the next year the minig became in brisk that before Chanukah licht, you take the broom out of the room. So the minig became you take the broom out of the room. So not every single thing is a minig.
So he worked against himself.
He didn't create the minig next year.
No, okay, but what he did was the exact opposite of what he wanted to do.
That's the joke. The joke is that it didn't work. His Talmidim were so...
Not only did it work, but it backfired. and also... They're very.
It's not a real story, but it's
also there are very few minhagim which were accepted by all Israel.
So it doesn't have to be accepted by all Makim Shenagu.
Okay, but let's say especially today, like in a place like today, when all Israel is all mixed up, there's no such thing as a Makim Shenagu anymore.
So that depends on the kehillah that you join.
Within the four walls of this shul, you have a certain minhag. Let's say not to eat kidney at the Pesach.
Right.
But if I walk outside the door, I can eat the kidney off, and you can't complain about it.
Right. So there is much more confusion in our generation.
And even minhagim which were established, I'm aware of certain minhagim which certain. They pointed out that minhag otiyot kehinom.
Right.
What period is that himself?
One of the later prakim. Now, parak, it's not such a long parak. It's an easy parak to learn. It's about 7-8 blot. The Chida already brings down that minig, if you read it backwards, minig is Gehenna. Gimel Hey Nun Chasna. You read it backwards. I mean, not all minhagim are good minhagim. You have to know if you see that Chachamim are doing this minig, Yirei Shamayim are doing this minig, right? If the minig is to daven very quick, that's not the good minig, right? You have to know what minig. The minig is to buy a cell phone. That doesn't mean that's a minig, right? We have to know what's a minig, what's not a minig, and we have to know which direction the minig brings us. And in general, regarding your first point, it's a very good point. Today, things are very different than they were in Europe. And not only Europe, but Chalal, and it used to be in all areas where people lived in a place for 1,000 years, 2,000 years, and there was a minig hamakim, and there was a concept of minig hamakim. However, when we live today, after World War II and World War I, and Klal Yisrael became spread around the world, and the concept and after the state was established and the Sephardim were sent out of their lands, and basically you can have on one area a lot of different minhagim in one city, right? In New York and in Borough Park or in Flatbush, every single type of shul you could have. So then it goes by what kehillah you belong to, your family, the shul you belong to, and that's the minhagim you accept upon yourself. Those are the minhagim that you belong to. If someone wants to change a minig, he actually wouldn't need to make Hataras Adarim. And that's one of the things we'd say by Hataras Adarim every year, Rosh Hashanah, is that if I had anything different than Hagim, which I took upon myself, and I'm asking to be matter neder, if I'm not continuing it. So,
any way to change the minig that we
down very quickly.
Well,
maybe Mefarsim that there's someone hugging that.
there was someone who was in jail, and he insisted on getting eggs and onions. The warden said, okay, I'll get him eggs and onions. Then the person that told me the story said, then I tried to get him moved from the south to the north so that he could hear the chauffeur every day in Elul. He refused. He didn't want to take that 10-hour ride on a bus. And then when he got out at the Suda Hadah in the park, he told the person who told me the story, a well-known person in Crown Heights, I don't know why he didn't mention his name. He said he apologized to me, and he said that he realized that eggs and onions weren't important minhag.
Right, so let's
hearing the chauffeur.
There's a minhag of many kehilas to have ayir mitzviful, onion and
was
onions and eggs on Shabbos.
Hearing the chauffeur was halacha. He confused the two.
Right, but that doesn't put down the concept of minhag. But that's a mistake in the fact that we know that the Torah itself defines what precedes what. A deraisa precedes the Rabbanan. A Rabbanan precedes a minhag. But when someone fulfills a mitzvah Rabbanan, he's also, we say in Asher Kitchanim and Mitzvah Tivanu, he said Hashem's name, Hashem commanded us. What did he command us? The Rambam explains, Hashem commanded us in the Torah itself that you should listen to Chachamim. So by doing it, you're actually doing, one of the big Achrayim explains, L'chura, how could we say that when there's a suffix in a din Rabbanan we go L'kula? We're lenient. When there's a suffix deraisa we go L'chumra. L'chura, every derabanan is also deraisa. Every derabanan you're doing what Hashem wants. Elamai, he explains, true. But when the Chachamim set up, they told us to do Mikra Megillah, or to light candles, or to Neiros Chanukah, whatever it might be, the mitzvah derabanan. They themselves embedded in their own system that in case of a doubt, we go to the L'kula, to the lenient side. I mean, it's not pshat that we're saying, oh, derabanan. It's not really important. That's not what we're trying to say here. What we're saying is a suffix, we're lenient. Pshat is, it's all things that Hashem wants us to do, and this is what the Torah itself instructs us to listen to Chachamim. However, the Torah itself tells us that when it comes to the Rabbanon, Chachamim were not strict with their words to this point. And they said that if there's a doubt, you go to the lenient side. But if they wouldn't have given that provision, Ein Echanami, it would be the same as a deraisa. So the differences that we have between a deraisa, a derabanan, and a minhag, these differences are not man-made differences. These are Torah-made differences, and how we're supposed to view these situations.
We have sometimes it says Chamur did Mesufim Libertera. Right? He doesn't want to give the power to Chachamim, and Chachamim is supposed to say something more than the Torah.
There's an opinion in the Yerushalmi that when you do a mitzvah in the Rabbanan, not like we do today, like today we say a bracha, the Shmuel, the Korban Gilah, or the Havli B'nei Hanukkah. There's an opinion in the Yerushalmi, whenever you do any of these mitzvot, you say the bracha, Asher Kiddushanu, Mitzvah Kavit Sihanu, the Shmuel, Kol Chachamim.
Okay. And in the essence, it's bringing out the point that this is a Lishma Kol Chacham. It's a mitzvah. You're doing a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah. Yeah. Now, in the bottom of the right column is a very important brackets over here. Furthermore, L'shita zu l'chalik ben yoni ter shel peh ham yisadam ter shebeksav. This shita, to start differentiating between different ideas in Torah shel peh and yonim shalom d'chacham pi yirgum midash ha'Torah d'resha ben aishem malachim aishem sinei like zaydas at the kanas and the hagis. If someone starts to differentiate how he views something which is written in the Torah itself, or something which is only a gezeira, a later decree or takana, shenischad shoydichach mi Yisrael, Shabachol Deverdei, Harayu Pesach, this is an entry L'kfir Rachman Aslam be'ika shetoyer pe kula min Shemayim. This is an entry to someone being koifer on Torah min Shemayim. When someone starts to say, this I do have to do, this I don't have to do, we start to make differentiation. The minhagim come from Bnei Adam. It's not something important, it's not something from Hashem, it's man-made, so I don't need to be careful about them. Or the Rabbanan, the Chachamim said, when you go that direction, you slowly start to enter into kfir in general, Torah min Shemayim. You start off there, you start off in the ending, and that's where you go up the line. You don't find people that stood in the middle.
I have a question.
Yeah.
It might sound like a very stupid question. I think it has to be thought.
Huh?
It might sound like a very stupid question.
Chas v'sholom.
Oh no. So it's a minhag to eat gefilte fish.
No bones.
Does that mean that you have to eat gefilte fish?
Yeah, you have something in your ear. So I don't know if gefilte fish constitutes a real minhag.
So how do you define a real minhag?
Things that are mentioned in Shulchan Aruch as a minhag are for sure a minhag binding. What happens if he wants to have salmon instead of gefilte fish? He's over on the minhag.
That's a question.
That's what you're asking
I
essentially.
don't like gefilte fish.
Right. I don't.
He has to do children.
There are certain things we do as precautionary things. Lav dafke means it was accepted across the board. I don't know if you could say gefilte fish was accepted across the board.
Like we put a fence around.
If you don't like it, then it's not your
Like when we light candles, etc.
It has to be Oidik Shabbos.
You know, it says that, regarding gefilte fish, you don't find, but regarding eating something hot on Shabbos, having, cholent, hot food, which is a minhag across the board in Klal Yisrael, have some hot food.
That's brought down.
It's brought down that it's a mitzvah of Einig and Kavod Shabbos. But it says that someone who dafke doesn't eat it, you have to check after him if his beliefs are okay, because the Shulchan Aruch says there were groups of people that only believe in Torah Shabbat and not Torah Shabbat, and they interpreted Torah Shabbat on their own. Because if you don't have a Torah Shabbat interpreting Torah Shabbat, you can't read Torah Shabbat. There's no way we can understand anything in Torah without an interpretation. If you read about tefillin, so what is it? Is it round? Is it color? What's inside it? You don't know. If you read about tzedakah, how much should I give? When should I give? Sukkah. There's not one mitzvah in the Torah that one can read on its own and understand it without an interpretation. It needs interpretation. So you have Torah Shabbat Peh. L'maiseh, the Tzedukim who didn't believe in Torah Shabbat Peh, they went with Torah Shabbat, so they had to have their own pshat. So they made up their own pshat. So when it came, for example, it says in the Torah regarding Shabbos, you should not light a fire in your household on Shabbos. So we understand it to mean how to light a fire on Shabbos. But if the fire was lit before Shabbos, you're allowed to have a candle or a fire burning, something cooking from before Shabbos. But they had a different interpretation. They had a pshat. You should not have any fire lit in your house. You can't have any fire. They would sit in the dark on Shabbos because you're not allowed to have any candles lit. They were very frum. But in their way. And what they decided was, they were a very religious group. They weren't a non-religious group. They were a religious group. But they had their own interpretation. Misguided. And Lamaisa.
They lost a hot football. They lost a hot shot.
So Chazal say, the reason why we have cholent, chamin on Shabbos is in order to have kavod and Einik Shabbos. A hot food is respectable to have at a meal. Having cold meal, what's a cold meal? To having mechabed Shabbos, you have a hot meal. But if someone doesn't have it, it's not only an issue that he's missing kavod and Einik Shabbos. We have to know why is he not having it.
You're not have trouble, but you can take a chicken or something.
Yeah, you can have a tea. You can have something else. And not only that, it says if hot food hurts you, you personally can't take hot food. You don't have to. But the Shulchan Aruch says if someone dafke is never wants to have hot food in Shabbos, we have to check into his credentials. We have to look at his license. We have to see what group he's involved with. Obviously today it's not really common, even though these people still do exist, by the way, but there are not many of them. But in those days it was much more common.
I actually met one.
Yeah. I think in Israel they have a group of Samaritans, the Shamronim.
The Karaim you're talking about.
Right. But
the Tzedukim, you confuse them with the Tzedukim. The Tzedukim are obsolete, they don't exist anymore. But the Karaim, today in the old city, Yerushalayim, there's a Kara'i shul.
So they have a kehillah.
Yeah.
Are they traditional Karaim? They all go all the way back? No, they gave him? And what about the other group, the Samaritans? What is that group about?
No, the Shomanim, they're the ones who the Chazal call the Kutim.
The Kutim?
The Kutim, the Harbarizim.
I think they still bring the Korban Pesach, I think.
They still do, yeah, but in time of Chazal there was a doubt whether or not they're Jewish or not.
Right. Okay, so L'maisa, let's take a look at Siv Gimel. Siv Gimel. The Rebbe explains more. Why did the Frierdiker Rebbe have to stress this in the letter? That Yiddishkeit is based on Torah. Everyone knows Yiddishkeit is based on Torah. Well, who thought differently? Yeah, you're right, says the Rebbe. In a regular, normal city, in a city which has from a Yidden and Chachamim, we understand that Yiddishkeit is based on Torah. People cannot define themselves Yiddishkeit. But the Frierdiker in his letter is demanding that we spread Yiddishkeit b'chol asar v'asar, everywhere in the world, every place, even places where there isn't Yiddishkeit, where there aren't Chachamim, to bring Yiddishkeit and Torah there. When you're coming to these type of places, it's very important to set the standard and set the record clear what is Yiddishkeit based on. Because if you go to a lot of these outlying places, they have a lot of misguided interpretations as to what is Yiddishkeit. They have a lot of different things, what they feel is Yiddishkeit.
What would you consider the reform movement?
Yeah? So the Reform movement and the conservative, all these groups, and including now what's called Open Orthodoxy, are basically movements that have decided that a lot of things are, they do not have real emunah, that everything comes min Hashemayim, and therefore they can pick and choose what they like to keep or what they feel. Can't hear you. People in Open Orthodox, these groups are very far out. If you hear what they say, but so anyone that goes with this mahalach, I feel it's not only a mahalach which is not only that they're being koifer in Torah, but I think that they actually contradict themselves, because some reason they still hold on to a lot of things. They hold on to some things and they don't hold on to the other things.
What's comfortable they hold?
So comfortability is not a religion. Exactly. Anything which is based on comfort and comfortability, or what the times allow, because we decide that the Torah, we don't not comfort the fact that Torah was against Mishkav Zachar or whatever, because society today does not like that. Whatever it might be, suddenly they change, they shift the change, and the change is based on the time. So it's not only pshat that it's not, they don't believe in certain things. I don't look at it even like the Karoyim. It's not a religious group really. They don't really care about keeping anything. L'maisa, why do they keep certain things? Not because they feel it's obligatory. They feel that it's cultural, it's social, it's a club, it's something they feel comfortable. Maybe we could say that they have a neshama, and that actually makes them keep certain things. But why they say openly why they're keeping certain things is not because of the right reasons. It could be the neshama doesn't allow them, they're giving them a guilty conscience not to drop everything, and therefore we have these different levels open Orthodox, Reform, Conservative, Conservadox, and everyone's making up their different reconstructions, all the different levels. But the nikud of all of them is that once you leave the boundary in saying that not everything is from Hashem, everything goes, and there's no where it stops, because once you say it's not min Hashemayim, there's no reason I should keep anything. So in reality, a Jew who says I don't keep anything makes a lot more sense than someone who's saying he's a Reformed Jew, he's a conservative Jew. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a contradiction. It's not much of a religion. I one time met a very chashuv Reform. Maybe I told it here once when I was a bacher a lot of years ago, some 15, 16 years ago. I was in California, and there was some remote area. We went to the city, so we were going to spread Yiddishkeit there in the summer. We were there for a few weeks. Merkah Shlichus was called. And we went, we had a trunk full of Sfarim and mezuzahs to sell to people, and different tapes and I don't know if we had CDs then, but there were tapes around. And Lamaisa, so we came to we would try to get a connection with people. One of the ways that you got connected to people, also you had to meet the Reform, the conservative rabbis. So therefore, when we would meet people, we say, "Yeah, we met your rabbi already." It was so when we met the Reform rabbi. We didn't go to his temple. We don't walk into the temple. We went to meet him in his office. He sat there without his yarmulke, and he had a tremendous temple in California, a beautiful place, and a lot of families belonged to it. And Nebuchadnezzar, this guy, his daughter became from. It was very sad for him. And now she became from, she married someone from Meir Sha'arim. So this was like the worst. he was probably sat shiva on her, So Lamaisa, he was very, he felt very bad that we don't want to daven by him. And he said when his daughter comes to town, she won't daven in his shul. His daughter and son-in-law, they don't daven in his shul. They come to visit the parents, they come to the house and say hello. But daven in the temple, we can't daven that in your temple. So they walk 45 minutes to the Chabad shul because they don't want to daven there. And he wants to show solidarity with his children. This is very embarrassing for him, this whole situation. His own children will daven in his own temple. But, Epis, has to show liberalism and covenant. So he drives to the Chabad shul on Shabbos to participate in the prayers together with his children to show the unity.
Oh, wow.
It's a very big Rachmanis, son. I'm telling you, it's a Rachmanis. So Lamaisa, he told us, he said, why don't you want to daven in my shul, he says, some people keep one mitzvah, some people keep two, some people three. I advise them, they come to my office, I see what type of character they have. Say, oh, you're very into food, maybe you should take on kashrus. You're very into this, maybe you should do this. And this is what he does. And he does mitzvahs. And his Lamaisa, he said, you can have someone who keeps a lot of mitzvahs. You want to keep 613 mitzvahs? You're also welcome in my temple. You can keep all the mitzvahs in my temple. So why don't you daven by me? You can keep the Taryag mitzvahs and come daven by me. He doesn't understand. So I said, that's the point. By you and your shul, essentially, you can keep all the Taryag mitzvahs, but you don't believe that you have to keep them all. You don't believe that there's a chiyuv.
They don't believe in the whole concept of a mitzvah.
Right.
It's just like you have the politicians in Israel who go to the kotel on election time. But I'm trying to fill in at the stand, but
he told me that actually. What you're saying, he says to me that he refrains from using the word mitzvah to people, command. It's very harsh, the word command. It's too
scare him.
It's too scary. Command. Suggestion. A nice idea. Command. So Lamaisa, I said to him, this is the chiluk. A person in your temple, even if they keep Taryag mitzvahs, but they believe that they don't have to, they're a kaifer. They can be a shomer Torah mitzvahs 100%. But if they don't believe that they have to, and they're only doing it because it's a nice idea, they are a frum yid in actuality, but they're a kaifer. They're pasha kaifer in the ikr. You don't believe that the Torah mitzvahs min Hashemayim. You don't believe in the Yud Gimel Ikrim. You're missing the whole Yisai. I tried to explain it to him a little bit, Baruch Hashem, his children understood, so that was something.
You mean more than one of his children?
His daughter and his son-in-law. I don't know. His other children, His other children didn't get it yet. We actually, it was very interesting. We met there. tell you two stories. We were going during the daytime. We need to reach out to. How can we get to people? You have to find out ways to get into people. They should invite you. These people are secular community or they're reform. How are we going to? Rabbis with hats and jackets, they don't see anything like that in the city. No one's seen something like that. So this is now there's a shliach in this place.
Thanks to you.
And it was called, I don't even remember the place, but it was near Thousand Oaks. Thousand Oaks was a shliach, but it was a town nearby. What Maisa was, one, we went during the day, we used to go from store to store. We say, excuse me, anyone Jewish here? And this is the way we would try to meet Jewish people. And this is the method how we would get through to them. And at night, we were busy making phone calls. We would have a list. We'd take a list from the phone book and you look for all the Jewish sounding names and try to call them up. And not always were they Jewish.
Sure.
Maybe the husband was Jewish, the wife was. We would call and try, and it was not easy. Obviously, it's not easy, but Baruch Hashem, we went to one place. We went to this veterinarian, and we went into the secretary. And we said, "Is anyone Jewish here?" She said, "Yeah, Dr. Schwartz, the veterinarian is Jewish." So anyway, she said she's going to ask him if he wants to meet us. So she went and he said, "Yes, please wait. He's with a patient. A patient was there, and the dog or something. So please wait." So we waited a few minutes, and as he came out, he was so happy to meet us.
Wow.
He tells us he davens at the Reform Temple. So we told him, "Yeah, we met your rabbi." Anyways, so he says, and he has every week, Shabbos in the morning, he likes to learn the Parsha. Not sure if it's the same Parsha we learn, but he learned the Torah portion. And he comes to shul early, and him and his wife is not Jewish, but they like to discuss the Bible and discuss the meaning of the Torah. And they come to Shabbos in the morning, they learn Torah in the temple, they have a whole group. They have a whole group.
Whole discussion.
So he said he's very interested to hear what's the Orthodox way of learning Torah. He never heard about it. And he wants to know, so he said, we'd love to. So he said he wants us to meet his whole group, that his Bible group. We were like, this is Givaldic, the whole group at once. So we said, definitely, we'd love to meet your group. So Lamaisa, we set up a nice evening. He said, come to my house, we'll have in the backyard, we'll have a little fire there, and we'll have everyone come around, and this was like middle-aged people, and they would like to hear how you learn Torah. So we got all prepared, we're getting ready. What type of questions are they going to ask us? We got to know, all the standard questions. And, why do we have the mechitza? What are this? What are that? What are they going to ask us? What are they bothered with? Got to get prepared. Young Bachar, we don't really know. We're coming out for learning some Gemara here. So anyways, we come there that evening. We brought with us, we set up a table there.
They came to
of Svarim. We went to the guy's house, this guy Schwartz. We set up a table. We asked him before, we set up in his house table with books, with Svarim, with tapes, with Steinsaltz and different books that are there. And people can buy after they finish the discussions. We came there, people came prepared. They came prepared also to attack. So people started, they're pulling out newspaper articles from under the chair. And what about this that the Orthodox did? And what about this that the ultra-Orthodox did? And you have to answer for this and for that. And, no, we're not like this, we're not like that. And Lamaisa, they calmed down. It was a very nice evening. It was a Baruch Hashem, a beautiful thing. People bought things, but there was one more story from that place. We met a guy here. I think I told the story here, but it's kedai to say it over. We were going to the stores during the day. We went to a certain place. We met this guy Mark, a Jewish guy. He was a very nice fellow. We were talking to him, Stam, about the weather. Before you get to talk about Yiddishkeit, you talk about the weather a little bit. So schmooze about this and about that. But then we started to talk a little bit about, Yiddishkeit a little bit. What do you do? And do you know about this? And would you be interested in this? Then he got very upset. And he started saying how Orthodox, the religion is so cruel, and the Judaism is so cruel. Anyways, he was getting all upset. I said, what's going on? What was the issue? What was your experience? A lot of these people have different bad experience, and you have to talk to them about it. So Lamaisa, he says that he personally, he's not too religious b'chlal, but he's a neighbor to the older conservative rabbi in the city. He was an older guy who grew up in an Orthodox family. Later went to college, university, became not from, and eventually decided he wants to be a rabbi, conservative rabbi. He's an older guy, and he makes a minyan there every Mondays and Thursdays. They struggle with the minyan on Mondays and Thursdays. Not too many people that come here to make a minyan. It's a grace of temple, but Rosh Hashanah and Kippur they come, but B'meshech the Mondays and Thursdays and that come. So he asked him, he said, Mark, could you please come help the minyan? He said, I'm not really religious, but you know, a nice favor, be nice, a mensch to the rabbi, the older rabbi, so I came out of respect, I came. Is one day there was a Holocaust survivor came to daven with us. He needed to say Kaddish for his parents that were killed in the Holocaust. He was up to 90 years old. And we only had 9 people. And they had up like the big temple they used on Shabbos, and they had a small sanctuary for during the week. So the rabbi said to me, maybe go around the temple, look around, maybe you can find a 10th person to join the minyan so he could say Kaddish and daven. So Lamais, I went into the big sanctuary, and I saw this is the words he used, I saw an Orthodox Torah cleaner cleaning the Torah scrolls. This is the way he described it. I guess was a sofer cleaning the Torah scrolls. So, and he said, I told him, could you please come help us make a minyan? So he said, sure. So he came to the small sanctuary, walked inside, and he sees that there are women also part of the minyan. The women were also wearing tefillin and everything, they were part of the minyan. So he right away said, no, I'm sorry, I can't be part of this minyan. So they said, well, we really need a minyan. There's a Holocaust survivor came to say Kaddish. He said, no, I can't. This is against my belief, and I can't join this minyan and everything. Please, please. They said, he says to him, just a Holocaust survivor, have mercy on him, have bench. I can't be part of this, and he walked out. It seems like this person, the Sofer, obviously didn't know where he was, checking his Titus. He seemed to be a little sincere where he entered, but he fell into this place. Lamaisa, this guy turns to me, this guy Mark, and he says to me, how cruel can he be? The whole entire Judaism, religion, isn't it about that a person should be a mensch, should be a nice person, a good person? Here's a Holocaust survivor. He said, I don't come to the minyan because I believe in it. I come because to do a favor, to be nice. And here, this is what you did to a Holocaust survivor? It's such a cruel thing. And he's really venting and getting very upset about it. And I'm thinking, what can I tell him? I'm telling him it's not the halacha. He's not ready to accept that. That's not where he's holding. How am I going to get something to enter into his mind? Hashem geholfen. I told him, I turned to Mark and I said to him, Mark, you didn't let the man say Kaddish? He said, of course not. We didn't have 10 people. I said, Mark, how cruel could you be that you didn't let some man say Kaddish? Right. That is so cruel that you could let them. Like, what do you mean? You need 10. I said, yeah, the same people that said, the rabbis, you said you need 10 men. So if you want to go with 10, you got to go with 10 men. If you don't want to go, don't go. Let the man say Kaddish. I said, it's a cruel thing. It's an injustice. You should have let the man say Kaddish and make him feel good. The whole religion is to make someone feel good according to you. Let him feel good, the man, and say Kaddish, and let him feel good. That's it. Beautiful. Shalom Yisrael. He backed down right away. He said, you're right, Rabbi. And that was Avish Shabbat and I didn't feel like, I didn't know how I'm going to get out of this with this guy. But Lamaisa, this is what we're hearing. The Rebbe is saying, we have to go to Maidav now, but it's very important we know that Chizuk HaTorah B'Hayadus. Yiddishkeit, Torah defines Yiddishkeit. Yiddishkeit, Yadut is defined by Torah. We cannot on our own, it's not man-made, Torah, and we cannot on our own decide what is Yiddishkeit, what's not Yiddishkeit. This, that, Shmu Azuna, V'Shmu Zu Einana. It's not up to us. The Torah, anyone who holds that any pasuk in the Torah, any little bit of Torah Shal Peh, is not Min HaShamayim, is Koyfer the Iker. And anyone who started to take away from any part of the Torah, eventually went to the end and was Koyfer in the entire Torah. So it's something we have to be very clear about what's the definition of Yiddishkeit.
So how do you explain when you say that the term Shemayim, so the motto, one time said that the Allah is like the water should go backwards and the wall should go, so the basket should come back, so they're running the dead. Torah has to be, so how do we say in one side of the amount we say Torah Shabbat Shemai, and the other side the Torah has to be the King Ho according to what the basket is in the basket.
It's a very interesting Gemara you're bringing up. But the Torah, there are different levels in Torah. Meaning, when we have Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel, Halachic Beis Hillel, right? Is Beis Shammai not Torah? Beis Shammai is also part of Torah. There's Halacha and there's Torah. There's Halacha. Being a part of Torah doesn't mean you have to be Halacha. There are Hashem's wisdom can think this way, can go that way. There's a svara like this, there's a svara like that. Elu Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim chayim. We use the word Elokim, the name Hashem Elokim, when we refer to everything, all the opinions in the Torah are part of Torah. They're all from Hashem Elokim. But halacha, Dvar Hashem zu halacha. Dvar Havaya, the Yud Kei Vav Kei is halacha. Halacha comes from a higher source, from a deeper source. So Eina Chanami, they're big tzaddikim, they're able to make many nisim, and it's a shita which is al pi Torah. But halacha is acher rabim lahatis, you have to follow the Rav. And that's where the Shechina Shoira is dafkin the Rav. When we say Mesifta de Rekia, agreed, there is, ultimately Hashem gave it up to us, not to Mesifta de Rekia. So Klal Yisrael down here has to decide the halacha down here.